and Bruce Arians' relationship all season, and yesterday, Tom Brady talked about it with the media.
I feel like we have a great relationship. From the moment I got here, we've had just great dialogue, and I certainly appreciate, all the insight he gives me, and the way that he coaches and leads, and we always have a great open lines of communication. So I've really enjoyed my time, obviously, getting to know him and have great admiration for him as a coach, as a man, as what he is off the field, and how he commands and leads the team.
Okay, so you heard him, Brady, saying that he and Arians are good. Stephen A., you buying this?
Not really, because let me say two things. Number one, I've never heard a bad word about Bruce Arians as a man, in terms of his relationship with players and stuff like that. But number two, we can't take anything Tom Brady says seriously about somebody. Tom Brady doesn't say anything negative about anybody publicly. He just won't do it. So Tom Brady will look into the camera and lie through his teeth to all of us about how he truly felt, if he indeed did feel anything negative about Bruce Arians. So we can't sit up there and take that seriously. That's just not his MO. He's not going to do that. Having said all of that, what I will say is this. Any questions we have about the relationship with Brady and Arians is because of how openly critical Arians has been periodically about Tom Brady throughout the season. On several occasions, he's questioned what they could do, what the quarterback has missed doing. He's chided him or maligned him to some degree publicly, not just privately. And he's even brought into question Tom Brady not knowing something. I don't know whether he read the wrong defense or whatever the case may be. Go back and look at the quotes. I'm not making this up. I don't know Bruce Arians personally. We don't, I don't cover his team. We don't talk. I have no axe to grind here at all. It's not my way anyway. But the point is that I think that any question marks that exist about Brady and Arians is because of the way Arians has handled things. Considering that and Tom Brady's resume with 6 Super Bowl championships and 9 Super Bowl trips, one could imagine that he had to have been taken aback by some of the things Bruce Arians has been willing to say publicly, not privately, but publicly. I can't imagine that Brady would not have an issue with that. And I wouldn't expect Brady to admit it. I don't know, but it's just a guess.
I buy what I'm hearing from Brady and Arians. I don't think that everything's been perfect. In no relationship is everything perfect. And this is a brand new one, and they've had their ups and downs, but more ups than downs. So do I think there was some friction? I mean, going in, no risk it, no Mr. No risk it, no biscuit guy versus the dink and dunk man with all the Super Bowl rings. Yeah, of course. Like, does Brady bring Gronk? Is Arians happy about that? Yeah, but now that means I have to do some things differently. Antonio Brown, Arians was on the record. We don't want him in the locker room. He's not a fit. But Brady wants him, so he's there. Of course, that's going to cause some kind of consternation. But guys, what I look at in terms of the criticism of Tom Brady is Arians has known the right buttons to push with Brady. And Brady's been around the block. He has to recognize that. Brady's not stupid. So Arians, after the first loss to the Saints, criticized Brady publicly. See that, everybody? On the team. Forget about the public. I can go after Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to be accountable. And Tom Brady was accountable. And they played better. And then, when Brady really needed someone to get his back, when he forgot the number of downs, right, at the end of the loss to Chicago, Arians lied for him. And Brady then covered for Arians when he was asked directly, and I suspect it was because Arians had already said something, Brady didn't want to contradict him, right? So, and what happened? They bounced right back. And every time Arians has criticized him, Brady has seemed to respond, and so has the team. And right now, they're 8-5. Guys, Brady is having a nice season. 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, high middle of the pack QBR, like above average, and they're winning a lot. And Arians also has to know he's been around the block. It's a pretty good team with a nice record and some quality wins. It's not every day, it's not every season you get a season like this. And Arians has to know Brady's leadership and play has a good amount of responsibility for the fact that they're 8-5, which is a good record. So, do I think that Arians and Brady respect each other and believe the things they're saying? Yes. That doesn't mean there's no negative stuff underneath or in addition to it, but I think that they spoke the truth when they spoke about each other.
Okay. I mean, listen, we don't know. I certainly don't know. What I'm saying to you is that if there was something negative to say about Bruce Arians, we would not hear it from Tom Brady. Tom Brady, that's not his way. That's not his MO. One of the reasons we applaud the man so much is not only is he a winner, but he doesn't say stuff publicly. He keeps stuff in-house and he handles it accordingly with the level of professionalism that it deserves. If you recall, Max, to speak to the character of a Tom Brady, remember when the radio host in Boston had talked about his kid and Tom Brady had the weekly appearance with them, literally called into the station to express to them why he wasn't going to do the interview that particular week, and was as classy as you could be in pointing out that there were lines that were crossed there that you just don't cross. So I don't say about Tom Brady lying and not telling the truth about how he would feel negatively about somebody. I don't mean that to castigate him in any way. I'm speaking about his elevated level of character. This dude is class personified, and he is not going to handle business in a negative fashion publicly. That's not his way. So knowing that, I can't believe anything he really says when there's some kind of negative controversy that could be percolating, because I know we'll never hear about it from Tom Brady publicly. We know that much. Whereas in the case of Bruce Arians, when it comes to Tom Brady's play, or what he perceives as being Tom Brady's play, he's publicly chided him in ways that Bill Belichick never did. And so we have to remember that, and then move forward. It's not the end of the world, but we have to acknowledge that that's what has happened.
The responsibility of a head coach is different, obviously, than a quarterback. And Arians has said Brady's received too much criticism. And he's right about that. Like, you only criticize Brady if your expectations were unrealistic coming into the season. For a 43-year-old, he's having an amazing season. And the Bucs are even outpacing what the odds makers thought they would do in terms of wins and losses right now. They're on pace to do it. When you look at the rest of their schedule, they're likely to win at least 10, maybe 11 games. When the over-under was 9.5, I believe. So Arians is speaking the truth about Brady, just as he spoke the truth when Brady would mess up and he needed to hold Brady accountable to show the team how it was going to work. And Brady, Stephen A., it's interesting. Yes, of course, he remembers that stuff with Arians. How could he not? And however he compares Arians favorably or unfavorably to Belichick, let's say, there are lots of ways in which it's going to be unfavorable because Belichick's the greatest of all time. It's not a knock against Arians. The question is, if you lead like Tom Brady, do you have to really internalize what you're telling people? Or is he thinking, I really don't like this Arians guy, but I'm going to say something different? No, I believe, just my belief, that Brady drinks the Kool-Aid, even if it's his own Kool-Aid, pardon, and convinces himself of the things he says before he says them, or believes them in order to sell them, and in order to lead. I think those guys are telling the truth about each other right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an interesting dynamic between these two, and one that has been making headlines all season long, and something else